Alrighty. Okay. So, 3 hounds on your tail. You walk away from the hut and the dreary clearing along this semblance of a path that was not open to you before. Tippity taps indeed. You look over your shoulder as you see the hut begin to become smaller and smaller the further you get away. And the knowledge that Vane is in there. At least his body is. Any Matron? Is there anything you would like to do?
Exact revenge.
Yeah. Murder the hag?
Be my guest.
Eventually.
I think the relatively somber nature of how everyone's feeling at the moment, I think it's a uncomfortably silent walk.
Mm-hmm.
Made even more awkward by the beside you. Or nearby, I should say. On your trail of the hounds. It will be a couple of days' journey to reach Fairnfirth. However, as you are traveling, you realize that this somberness seems to be carried with you. You don't hear any bird calls. No little squirrels or rabbits burrowing into their holes. It is eerily silent. As your first day without Vane comes to a close, you notice that the hounds continue to walk on past you as you settle down. I'm assuming you brought the horses with you, just to...
We have no reason to leave them behind.
Yep.
I don't know what they did with them, so I'm guessing they're coming with.
The hounds kind of look back at you.
We have to rest, or we won't get the job done.
You see one of the hounds flumps down on his bottom, and the other two almost seem to disappear into the night.
When they appeared before, was it, you said was it one showed up and the other two appeared, or did two show up and the other one?
2 ran, and then beside one of them that ran, one bamfed into existence.
And are they all identical? Or is there
Not
any
entirely. The one in front of you, you see these 2 large canines that they have, or more like tusks poking out of their bottom lip. The one in front of you right now, the right tusk is snagged.
And
the little boopy here.
The one that vanished, was he different from that? Did he have his tusk?
He had his tusk, yeah.
Okay.
Kato has some unsavory thoughts.
Yeah.
This is something you want to do. You come to the next morning. Still a dreary hanging in the sky.
No, that'd be a logistics nightmare.
You can ask. I could say no.
Well, I briefly entertained the thought of secret correspondence with Gilmore, calling for reinforcements in Farnforth.
You can try.
How many days is it from Farnforth?
It's about 2 days now. For you.
That's not
to
near.
reach Rainforth.
That's not nearly enough time.
You do see a message though for you, Kato, as you open up the log.
Mm-hmm.
And it reads back, Professor Gilmore will contact you if he finds any information pertinent to your request.
Okay.
Referring to the message you sent him before.
Yeah. Trying to remember exactly. I was asking about, I think, if he had learned anything. I
Anything
believe.
new, yep.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Nothing. Nothing further.
Alrighty. You continue on your travel once more. And another day passes.
I assume we can hit the long rest button.
Yes, you can.
Thank goodness.
Well, you've done 2 long rests now.
Yeah. Yeah, I can't speak for the other two, but I think Rook in particular, because they're traveling with these wolves, or these hounds, and he's still very off-put and suspicious. He's not gonna make too much conversation while he's in their company,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Agreed.
and then, and until he gets Vane back, I think he's gonna be in a very dour and sour mood.
I'll speak. I'll speak to Rook. So what's the plan from here? I just like to note I'm watching the hounds closely, see if they react.
Plans haven't gotten us very far so far.
The hounds
The
don't seem to
master will.
react. Sorry.
Yeah, so go ahead.
No, I was just saying the hounds don't seem to react.
The master will just have to be happy with us getting his millstone back. I don't like the idea of helping such a entity. But if she leaves, they'll have to make do. As it stands, we made the decision to strike first. They may have led us to that fight, but they didn't force us to start it.
I think this will not be the only time our paths cross.
For their sake, it better be. I'm sure what we're going to do here will have consequences. We're not in a position to be so lucky as to choose.
Indeed. For now, we'll play the game. Should the time come again, we'll be the ones to choose.
Rook won't respond, but he'll just sort of furrow his eyes and sort of further resolve.
Mm-hmm. And with that, you continue on. As night falls on the third night, you see the glow of light coming from different buildings. You've reached the outskirts of Fainforth.
How late in the day is it?
It's pretty dark, we'll say roughly about 7, 8. It's dark for them, given the just the position of the village. I'll move you over now.
We should probably wait until darkness takes over and try to do this unseen.
Yeah.
It's not unlikely that that blink dog will notice us.
Mm-hmm. He might have already noticed us.
And I would be... Well, given its tie to this place, it might not like us taking that. So someone might need to distract them.
Do we have a shovel?
We have me. I do also have a shovel, but I can just turn into something that can dig.
Very well.
So, shall we wait until night comes fully?
Sounds like a plan.
We were told that it's buried under the tree, weren't
Yeah.
we? Like, we weren't told it's like inside the tree or anything.
No,
We
it's
don't.
buried beneath the tree, within the roots.
Okay.
Sorry, I should say amongst the roots.
Amongst the roots.
Amongst the roots. So you nestle up for an hour or so, waiting for nightfall to take fully. Post up against a couple of the trees. You see one of the hounds stays nearby, but the other two skulk around the outskirts.
We can't try anything funny, or the hounds will attack the town. We just have to do this.
Yeah.
Be ready to deal with anything unexpected. And Rook will start by casting Locate Object on the name of the item, the Oaken Heart.
Okay.
Boop.
Name an object that's familiar too.
I don't know if it would be considered, but he had to see.
It's not exactly familiar, but I think because you kind of have an idea of where it is meant to be anyway, that coupled with the spell helps you get the general location of it.
They just like give it for any ping once he starts digging.
Mm-hmm.
Because he will then wild shape into a giant badger.
Ooh, very cool.
I will bring myself onto the and then carefully try to make my way over to the tree.
Mhm.
Trying to be as unseen as possible.
Just give me a stealth check there, please.
Sure. Yeah, giant badger is just a straight roll, so I'll just roll a d20. That is an 8.
Okay. You shuffle forward as this giant badger. You start climbing over a couple of the fairy mounds. You do knock off a couple of the trinkets. But you do get towards the base of this giant tree.
Once I'm up there, I'll just start digging down.
Mhm.
I've got a burrow speed of 10 feet.
Okay. It does take a couple of hours going at that speed. And as you press your nose further into the dirt, you get that. Oh, sorry, no, you got the ping before you went in. Yep.
Spell's still up while I dig.
You do get a sort of slightly sour, acrid smell coming from deep beneath. You begin tossing out clumps of dirt and finding these long, gnarled, thick roots that you have to try and coax your way in between. But you do end up forming like a small tunnel. You think it's, roughly the right direction of the item that you were so looking for. Roughly around midnight, you do hear nearby though.
From which direction? From like down to the tunnel?
No, behind you. You hear,
Behind me, like from where I dug down from?
Yep. You hear. You see, Blink Boy is stood there. His tail is wagging, but he's very curious as to what you're doing.
I'll just continue deeper.
Mhm.
I have no means to communicate at the moment.
Yep. As you are carving through the earth, eventually something shines in your face and you have to kind of close your eyes, your little badger eyes for a second, before you peel them open again and you see looks to be a large pale green stone that is glowing. Numerous roots are clambered in and around it, kind of making up the form almost of an anatomical heart. These branches and roots creating the arteries and veins supplying the gem itself. This looks to be it.
Rook will like reach out a little badger paw and put it on it to see if he can sort of like feel any like energy coming off it or see if it's something like if it's like suffused with like natural magic in some way. See if he can sort of gain any information about it.
Just give me a wisdom check, please.
Sure. Wisdom.
Oh, very good. Yeah, this gem is suffused with natural energy. And you do see as you're touching it, it's cold to the touch, but it pulses with this same kind of vibrant pale green energy that pulses all throughout the little branches and roots. that cover it.
Would it be fair for Rook to assume that perhaps something like this would like sort of maintain like the natural energy in the area? Like, would it be one of the reasons why this area is so like vibrant?
Quite possibly.
Is it? And how roughly how big is it?
It's roughly about. Hold on, let me get my ruler. It's roughly about a foot in height. And then if you were to hold it around, it's roughly like 3 to 4 inches across.
Mm-hmm.
But it's it's heart shaped, so it's kind of like an upside down pear. Sorry.
No,
First
makes
thing that
sense.
came to mind. Yeah.
Makes sense. Am I able to like how attached to it are the roots that are wrapped around it?
Surprisingly, not really. You gather that it's got more to do with the soil than it has the actual roots itself. But the roots that are on it, they seem to be almost part of the gem. Seem to have grown out of the gem
Oh, okay.
and are making up these little veins and arteries.
Okay.
But the roots of the tree itself, no, they're not. It's not entwined.
So if I dig around the crystal, can I like move it freely?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I will dig a bit of space around it so that the soil is like very like loose.
Mm-hmm.
I will drop wild shape.
Okay.
I'll grab the crystal, and then I will wild shape again into a badger and take it into my form.
Okay.
And if all goes according to plan, then I will attempt to surface again.
Yep. And you do so. You see, Blink Boy is kind of sat there watching you, but every now and then he casts his glance over to the forest.
Yeah. I don't think Rook can really communicate with Blink Boy at the moment. So he'll pull himself out, like look towards Blink Boy, and sort of drop his head a little bit in a sad way, and then like peter off towards the group again.
Okay. Yeah, and Blink Boy he sniffs around the upturned soil, and he watches you join up again with the group. He looks for a moment and then turns his tail back and he walks back into the tavern.
Rook will continue over to the cart and then very sort of like haphazardly, as a badger, climb his way into the cart.
Okay.
He might need a bit of help.
I'll lift Badger Rook into the cart.
Yep. His fluffy bum.
Yes.
He is pretty big. He is a medium creature.
I mean, still tinier than Rook.
Just for visuals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you awkwardly shuffle into the back of the cart.
And then he'll just nod his head in the direction of the path they just came from.
Okay. So do you guys head on out immediately? Do you want to take a rest? What's the plan?
Rook wants to at least make like an hour or two of distance before he comes out of his wild shape, because he feels very bad about taking this from the town, whether they knew they had it or not. And he absolutely would not rest in the town when he has taken this from them.
Fair. Yeah. So you journey out. It is the wee hours of the morning now by the time you peel out of Farnforth. shift you back. But you think you do have a fair amount of distance now between you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, once we make it as far as Rook can't like maintain his form anymore, he just pops out of it and lets the heart-shaped crystal sort of fall to the side in the back of the cart
Mhm.
for the others to see. This thing's pretty busting with natural energy.
I would assume so.
Whatever she wants with it, it won't be good.
Of course not.
Rook will pick it up and then slip it into the bag of holding.
Mhm.
We should make our way back as quickly as possible. I don't want to leave Vane in her clutches as any longer than we have to.
Agreed.
We should rest and head out as soon as we're all awake. I'll leave out a bit of feed for both the horses and then just find a blanket and curl up in the cart.
Yep. And unless there's anything else you want to do.
Don't think so. I think it's
Sharpen my swords.
You each come to the next morning. The hounds are keeping their distance, but they've got a beady red eye on you. And you continue the next leg of your journey.
second verse, the same as the first, I think.
Pretty much, yeah. Unless there's anything else that you guys want to do on this journey, we can skip ahead if you'd like to arriving back at the clearing.
Do any of the hounds seem older?
Give me a perception check, please.
Like, which might be the weakest link? Perceptione. Okay, well.
Sorry, that's my bad.
the-
You need to use the cradle.
Oh, well.
So excuse that roll.
Right, yeah, that's right. 9. 7 for a 9.
7 for a 9. Okay. They all look about much the same. They are very peculiar creatures. Incredibly large, but very quiet. And their humanoid faces are very disturbing to look at. These humanoid little noses and furrowed eyebrows that look at you. Their mouths distended with these huge teeth. And then these glowing red eyes that never seem to close.
Just like a security camera. This is a bit of a stretch. Do I notice any of the the fey creatures? Because I imagine they would have at least. Maybe I'm imagining things, but just curious if they have been keeping an eye on us, because we went into a zone, or went into the zone and then came out. Don't think. I don't know. Maybe if they've been
Is
following or not.
eerily quiet. Disturbingly so. Very disconcerting, sorry. No fae,
Mm.
no wildlife. Unless there's anything else?
No, not really.
No.
No.
So on your third day of travel back, the sun has disappeared once more. It is drearily dark. And you notice the hounds begin to pick up their pace a little bit, running towards the clearing that you see now. The same stone hut, surrounded by a wreath of rock. In front of the stone hut, though, you do see the looming figure of Granny Gretfern in her giant hag form. And there seems to be a cauldron set out.
I'll take a look around to see if there's anything like new, any more eyes on us, or it's just the hounds and Granny.
Yeah, same.
Give me a perception check, please.
8.
8. Is that total or?
Yes.
I'm assuming. So 6. What's your wisdom?
Yep.
Okay. As you're looking around, Rook, the only thing that seems to be new is the little crow that seems to be sat on top of one of the branches here. It's peering down at you as you approach.
We're back.
Ah, not a moment too soon.
Hmm.
You see,
There's 2 Katos.
Oh dear.
There. Oh, sorry. Get out of here.
See the hounds lumber forward. You see Granny is standing over this cauldron. Bubbles blipping and steam rising from this deep crimson liquid mixture within. And she seems to be stirring the contents of it with what looks to be like the large branch of a tree. As you get a closer look at the cauldron itself, it seems to be made of bronze, but it's covered in these depictions of faces elongated in screams, hands and fingers clawing at their own faces. Well, I'm just about ready for the final piece.
And what's this for?
You want your friend back, yes?
And what's in front of you is for that.
Indeed.
Insight?
Sure.
Yeah, same.
What would you like to use, Kato?
4.
4.
Or 9.
Or 9, okay. She seems to be telling the truth.
Do I get the same vibe?
Yep.
I'll hold a hand out to Rook.
I wasn't aware that you needed the heart for the ritual of bringing him back to life.
No, that's not for him. I merely held off on the final step to ensure that you came back with it, though.
I will swing the bag to my side, reach in, and pull the heart out
Mhm.
so that it's fully visible, and then put it back in. As you can see, we have it.
Mm-hmm. That I
Perhaps
can, indeed.
you can understand my apprehensive if you can see what your end of the bargain, and we can't see ours.
You see, she reaches a hand into the cauldron. Like blood, it trickles up her arm, and she lifts out a purple hand. Attached to an arm that is within the cauldron itself.
With all due respect, I would like to see that Vane is alive. I already knew you had his body.
Give me a persuasion check, please.
And I will use Fortune of the Many to get +2 because that's all I can get at the moment to make that
An 11.
an 11.
The ingredients for this ritual are quite costly. I want to make sure I'm getting paid my fair share.
As do we.
You've
What?
already made it clear that we can't beat you. As far as I see, you could come and take this from me now and not even fulfill your end of the bargain. Or we could give it to you and you could kill us anyway. I at least want to have our side of the bargain where you have to bring him back.
She stops stirring the pot and she looks at you. For someone who is so quick to call me a hag, you are uncultured in the ways of the Fae, aren't you?
Yeah. I'm like a first generation primal material guy.
I can smell it off you.
Yeah.
Well, you either give it to me or you don't. If you don't, I'm going to drink him.
Wow.
It has been some time, and she begins prodding the inside of the cauldron. Since I've had tiefling stew.
I hold the hands of Rook, gesturing for the heart.
I'll pull out the heart and hand it to Kato.
I look at the heart, then back to her. I crush it in my hand. No, I'm kidding.
You couldn't, but nice try.
Maybe, if it rolls high enough. Yeah, right.
If I use the 2 that I have in the
Hmm.
deck.
The 2, the 3, the 5, and the 9.
Oh boy. If only.
Might as well give it to her. I can't confirm that such magics are in place, but Fays usually stick to their deals.
I look to her and I say, like you said, unspoiled. And then I will float the object over.
She watches as it approaches her. It bobs along gently. She reaches a hand up, and it is. While it was two-handed for you, she just wraps her long fingers around it.
Can I judge in this moment focus like shifts to the heart? Can I get a read of like exactly how happy she is to get it, or whether it's just a oh cool, I finally got it.
Give me an insight check, please.
Yeah. No.
It's with her wrangled face, it's very hard to tell.
Had to try.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Her gnarled fingernails scratch against the heart. She turns for a moment, pushes open a very heavy stone door. You hear as she walks in. You hear a bit of clattering about before she returns. With a large, upturned humanoid skull, larger than any of yours, in her hand. And what looks to be like a long bone of some kind, though it's definitely smaller than the skull. Just sitting in the skull's base or the opening. You look on confused as you realize that this is like a makeshift mortar and pestle. She begins grinding the powder inside before tilting the skull towards the cauldron. Silvery powder shimmers as it sifts and it falls into the mixture. You smell something sickly sweet with the bitter and sour notes of earthy iron that stuffs your nostrils. Your breathing becomes heady and quite uncomfortable. Saliva floods the base of your mouth as your stomachs twitch. Something about this feels incredibly off. Like it's something you are both privileged and cursed to see. Something only the twisted subconscious would ever conceive of in a nightmare. She stirs the pot. And with each stir, the silvery powder dissipates into it, and you see an unearthly red light begins to glow and grow from the mixture, casting shadows about your forms and your faces. You see Granny begins to grin her iron-toothed smile, and she begins to chant. Now, I would like all of you to mute, please. And I'll ask Vane to come back into the channel.
Was I supposed to not be in the channel?
No. Oh, sorry, I was
Okay.
just signing back into the game. Sorry.
Yeah.
Wrong word.
I was like, oh shit, I've been here the whole time.
So, Vane.
Mm-hmm.
But 6 days ago or so, having your breath leave your body, darkness takes you. Sounds begin to muffle. You hear your friends' shouts become distant as you sink into yourself. Down. Black. Darkness. Your senses detach from you. And in your final moments, you are filled with a sense of terror and relief. No sight. No sound. No smell. No hot nor cold. No sense of weight or position. No fatigue. No pain. An ice wind rips through you and startles you to consciousness. Or not consciousness. What? Something's not right. This isn't right. Your sight returns to you. A dark landscape. Dreary blacks and blues. Dull greys and browns. And you're unsure of where the horizon splits into the sky and the ground. But you can make out the shape of mountains. You look down and you can see the texture of the soil making up the ground. But where are your feet? Where are your legs? You hold up your hands only to see nothing there. This isn't right. You're not right. Terror sets into your stomach and you shake. You are not right. You are not right. You are not right. You're wrong. You're wrong. You're wrong. You hold yourself for a moment. Where are you? What do you do?
So if I like spin 360 around,
Mhm.
the horizon's all the same kind of bleak horribleness, right?
Yep.
Is there any landmark, like a hole in the ground or a spire that's bigger than the rest, or the sky, like if I look directly up, is there anything?
It's just blackness as you look up. There's no landmarks, no holes that you can see. But amongst the darkness, you do make out movement.
I'll
You're
run
not alone here.
towards that movement.
And you see what looks to be like an elven gentleman. One's tan skin that has paled from lack of sun, wearing a tattered tunic and trousers, covered and smeared with dirt. He looks at you with this terrified expression on his face. As he looks at you with suspicion and mistrust. But it's the eyes that get you. They're vacant. Expressionless. Soulless. Doesn't match the twisted grimace on his face. As you approach, he kind of cowers away a little bit.
Can I try and speak?
You can, and you do, though your voice sounds hollow.
Hello, I'm looking for my friends.
I don't know. You hear back in Elvish.
In Elvish, I'll say, do you know where I am? Where we are?
He looks around, startled, like he's expecting something to swoop down and eat him. Hell. This must be hell.
If I think back to any stories I've heard about hell via heritage.
Mhm.
Does this seem like it resembles any layer of hell? Or like resembles the imagery of any layer of hell that I might have heard of?
Give me a history check. Pretty good. You feel like the hells are a little bit more structured. And while
Yeah, colourful.
there certainly are certain aspects of the hills that are barren, it's incredibly odd that you would be here, first off. And
Yeah.
yeah, something just feels incredibly wrong. It doesn't sit well with the idea of hell that you've been taught.
I'll move closer to the gentleman and say, I don't think this is hell.
Get away, get away! And you see he begins clambering and falling over the stone.
I don't mean you any harm.
He scrambles away further.
Why are you scared?
It's at this point, as you ask this, that you feel a humongous torrent of wind blow right over you, right over the top of your head. Instinctually, you duck down as the gust of air billows around you, and you look up to see a huge creature of shadow, wings extended, flying overhead against a backdrop of dark and heavily clouded sky.
Does this resemble anything I've seen in the Grave District?
It looks a bit like a twisted and very large raven, maybe?
Okay.
Then again, it's a little bit too twisted.
Hmm.
The creature shrieks into the sky as it soars above, before it slowly begins to turn and circle. And you swear you see a pinpoint bead of red light. An eye looking directly at you.
Hmm.
Something tells you you've been spotted. Something tells you you're next.
I rush at the man on the floor.
Yep, you rush towards him and he just begins running, scrambling over the earth, trying to get away from you.
I'll kind of chase, while keeping an eye out for any cover.
Mhm. You hear a rumble. And as you're chasing after this man, the earth around you begins to shake. And the sound becomes deafening as you instinctually struggle to maintain balance for a body that is no longer there. The ground gives out beneath you. The sight of the man now gone. You hear cracking as you pull yourself off the floor, this pitfall that you've fallen into. You hear this grating gravel sound of stone shrieking against stone as you turn and see a door and its frame begin to merge from the rock beneath. The door itself is made of stone, though sparsely decorated, and you see these bare branches begin to crawl around the frame and about the handle itself.
Can I look up at the bird, see if it's still circling?
You do see
Like,
that it swoops over the pitfall that you've gone into.
I will make a sort of lunge for the door,
Mhm.
sort of scrambling on my hands and knees.
And you see, as you approach it, that the door opens a smidge. And a large, clawed, grey hand, like the ones that ended your time on the material plane, what feels like a lonely age ago. The fingers creep like spider legs around the edge of the door.
As I see that,
Go ahead.
as I see that, I'll kind of sort of stop and sort of scramble to like sitting, sort of like sitting down, kind of scramble backwards a little bit,
Mhm.
remembering the bitch.
Beyond the door, you do hear calls. Vane? Vane! Your friends. Your mother. Your father. Luxon. Larima. Lily. These voices echo towards you as the door opens wider. A grey, tree trunk sized arm, covered in boils and little knobs of iron, reaches out towards you. You hear a loud
Oh.
shriek. The flying creature has spotted you and is making a rapid descent straight for you. It's crept up on you. You see an impossibly large, piercing beak and glowing red eyes zeroing in on you. Claws outstretched, ready to pluck you from where you stand. Vane, you have a choice to make. What do you do?
Vane, like painfully, grim, like closes his eyes really tight and makes a lunge towards the boily arm.
As you reach forward, the hand clasps around yours, stone cold. And you feel yourself yanked through. The rest of you may return. See an eruption of red from within the pot. Oh, wrong one. You see red liquid sprays across the ground a number of feet from the cauldron. You see arms and legs pouring out of the cauldron itself. And you see, covered in red, hacking up more of it and gasping for air, Vane.
Vane, are you alright? Breathe. And he'll start putting you up and slapping you in the back.
And Vane will see the hag and like scramble this way.
Mm-hmm.
What? How?
Don't worry about it. We'll be leaving soon. You can go sit in the cart if you want.
What did you do?
Yeah, Uruk will turn his eyes towards the hag.
Mm-hmm. See, she's currently swirling a finger in the soup, so to speak. She pulls it out and licks it.
And the mill.
The mill? Ah, the millstone. I don't believe that was part of our deal.
I believe it was.
No, it was not.
We agreed to get the stone for the mill, and you said you'd take Vane as collateral.
It's no use to me anyway. And she turns, walks back into the hut, and returns with what looks to be like a shining, almost gold donut. Pink. It's like a pink ringed stone, and she just tosses it to you.
No. Immediately pick it up. Does Vane have any of his things?
He's very naked.
I'll look around to see if like his equipment in his pack is anywhere inside.
Oh, you see, it's just been left here by the side of the hut. Kind of just thrown there.
I'll hand the mill back towards Kato.
Mhm.
And I will slowly, but with intent, like take a step towards the stuff to see if she makes any move about it.
She doesn't. She
I could just
like
I could just float his stuff over.
By all means.
she's just mixing the stew.
Yeah, so I'll just float his pack and such over.
How am I feeling?
Like shit.
Do I feel? Yeah, but like, do I feel out of place? Like, obviously, yes, but
You feel very, very haggard. You feel sore. You don't feel at your best. But
Does he
you're
feel
alive.
spoiled?
yeah, that was part of the deal. Do I feel like I've been spoiled?
You're like spoiled milk.
Oh no.
Do I feel like cottage cheese?
No, you don't feel like. I think feeling like cottage cheese is kind of subjective.
Okay, fair enough. Okay, Lane just looks bewildered and confused, panicked, sore. Yeah, just in like pure shock.
Rook will take a look towards Roshana and just say, "We should make our way out of here."
We should. I don't want to be here any minute longer.
I'll just start making my way over towards the cart.
Okay. You hop on into the cart
Mm-hmm.
with a red-soaked Vane.
Vane will be like keeping one eye like transfixed on cold tooth, iron tooth, cold iron tooth lady.
You see, she cups her
Right.
hand and drinks from the red liquid. Throws a dash of herbs in there.
I'll start moving the horses
Mhm.
down south, the path we initially came in.
Alrighty. Yeah, you watch Vane as you're peeling out. Your eyes lock with Granny for a moment, and she waves. A big, iron-filled, toothy grin.
Vane just continues to look sort of stunned and yeah, like kind of like shell shock, I guess, is probably the best way to describe it. Like in terms of like what you see in his eyes and like his facial expression. He's just like completely bewildered.
You do see two of the hounds do follow you for about half an hour or so before they turn back. And after another half hour trundling along in the cart, you reach what you think is the border and pass out into the luscious green forest that you first know the Tarnished Forest to be.
Bane will be he is transfixed on the location where she was,
Mhm.
like just staring, even after she's disappeared beyond the horizon, just still staring where she was.
Okay. What would you guys like to do?
Do we have like a vague idea of what direction takes us back to the clearing with the pond?
You do have a big idea, yeah.
I'll start heading that way, but the main intention is to hit the river.
If someone could give me, if you're driving, Rook, could you just give me a survival check, please?
Mm-hmm.
Lovely. If someone could roll me a d20, please.
Will do.
And if someone wants to keep a looky out, that would be very handy too.
Sure. 4.
Oh, okay. That's the lowest number out of the way. In here. Soon the light and air of the forest takes over, fills your lungs. Not realizing that you had that metallic taste in your mouth for so long, webbed across your tongue, you have to swallow and spit a couple of times to get rid of the taste. And after a couple of hours of journeying, the path not too difficult for you. Slightly unerringly so, but definitely not with the creepiness that Irontooth herself carried in her lair. You do find that the colors of the trees and the grasses begin to shift once more. And you hear what sounds to be like a horn. As you trundle up the pathway that yourselves had ventured before. Sans Vein. Do you find yourselves back in the clearing? You see Kilmooly sat up on his perch. And Larry, the sprite, flickers down to you. Well, did you get it?
Here's your damn millstone.
You actually got it?
Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
No, fair enough. What's a gift horse?
You're looking.
Very well. He swoops down and takes the millstone from Kato, I believe you had it. Or Rook.
Yeah.
And he swoops back up to Kilmooly. And the two exchange not words, but you do hear as Kilmooly sounds from his trumpet-like nose. Kilmooly is very happy that you returned his millstone. He would like to ask of the Irontooth what of her?
She was well beyond us. It wasn't a pleasant experience, but we got what you wanted back.
Kimberly, thanks you for your great work. Even though Irontooth has not been slain, you have brought back the millstone as promised. Kimberly says that he will expedite your travels out of the forest.
Much appreciated.
He says you look weary and you are welcome to stay the night.
We might just do that. That area takes its toll.
Agreed. You see the pixies begin to flitter out towards you. Curiously watching you as you tie up the horses.
Rick will just pull out one of the sets of tents and sort of frustratingly throw it up.
Alrighty. How about the rest of you?
Vane will be still sat on the back of the cart, just staring kind of in the direction of where we came.
I'll touch
Please.
Faye on the shoulder.
He's
wanna
like
get out?
jumps.
It's me. I want to get out of the cart.
Yes, sorry. He'll sort of jump off the back of the cart and just sort of stand, kind of still staring in that direction.
Mm-hmm.
I trust we'll be able to rest the night without you going through a pack.
You are indeed.
Thanks.
Master Kilmoley has offered to provide a feast for you. What an honor indeed.
I wish I had the energy to show how ecstatic I am. Perhaps in the morning I will be able to truly express the depth of my gratitude.
Very well. Breakfast it is then.
Rug will climb into his tent.
Mm-hmm.
Vane's gonna. So, cart's kind of in that area. He'll kind of just like perch up against the side of the cart, knees close to his chest. Just keep staring in the direction we came from, and he's not going to sleep really very well.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be him for the evening. He'll also get the chain. I put my clothes on.
Yep.
They don't feel like they're sitting on him, right? So he feels kind of semi uncomfortable. So, yeah.
I'll get myself a spot across Vane to keep watch over him for a little bit until sleep takes me.
And how about yourself, Kato?
He's BRB.
Oh, sorry, missed that.
He just sent that though.
Okay. I think here is as good a point as any. I think that is us for this evening, guys. It's a little bit shorter than usual, but extenuating circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm very brain dead at the minute. I'm very tired.
Well, you were just resurrected.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like I've been knocked out 17 times, if I'm being perfectly honest.
Gosh.
Absolutely exhausted. Like, the past hour, I've just been like gradually getting lower and lower in my chair.
Yep.
Just like, help, help, I can't fall and I can't get up. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a tough one, all right.
Yep.
I'm honestly surprised that Kato and I were able to stay up.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
But there was nothing sadder than like seeing that perfect line at the end to the 3-person lightning bolt.
Mm.